Mic check. What up? What up? What up? Welcome back, good people. Welcome back to another episode of Sip the Tally Films. And y'all know what we're here for. Kyle Van Noy has re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens. 2 years, $10 million. And what we know from dealing with, signings and learning stuff over the past 7-8 years with doing this, a lot of signings. What up, Osman? A lot of these signings are whatever the deal is normally you take a year off. So if you sign for 2 years, you normally do 1 year. Normally. You sign for 4 years, you normally do 3. You sign for 5 years, you normally do 4. You sign for 3 years, you normally do 2. So we're looking at this as really kind of like maybe a 1 year deal, and then we'll see where that goes from there. So, from what I've read so far, it's a 2 year, $10 million deal. I don't know like how it's front loaded, back loaded. Is it 5 and 5? Is it 8 and 2? What's guaranteed? What's not? Is it how incentive based is it? I'm not really sure of all that yet. I'm sure it'll come out sooner rather than later. But what up, Low 27? Appreciate you guys for joining in, Osman. Appreciate it. Not really sure how it's structured yet. I don't know if it came out yet, but I'm sure Ravens salary cap will be all over it whenever it does come out. So what we're gonna do here for about 10 minutes is really just talk about the process of how it happened and how it broke, and then what does it mean for the Ravens. So let's kind of get into it. What up, Cam? And get into it. So this is how I think how it really broke.
Breaking news. Kyle Van Noy has signed a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. He's back. He's back.
The baby Keith.
Boy, Keith.
Here we go, Keith.
Last year, we got a chance to chat with KVN a few times, both before he was signed to a team and then after he was signed to the Baltimore Ravens. He seemingly loved the culture, loved the team, loved everything about being a Raven quickly. Now he will have another 2 years as doing as such. He had a great season for them. I think he made a lot of big plays late, too, which I think a lot of Ravens fans, kind of got endeared to the Mormon monster.
Hell yeah.
Kyle Van Noy. And we'd like to say congrats, Kyle. Keep it going, baby.
So I think that's how it initially broke. And he's a fan of, not a fan, but he's a regular on Pat McAfee show. He's always on there, doing his thing. And I think he's going to kind of get into what up, Raven C and Sebastian. I think he's going to get into broadcasting or television once he's done. He has his own show that he's done a couple episodes. He's been on Pat McAfee a couple times. He's a regular on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. So I think he's kind of headed in that direction once his playing days are over. So, extremely, extremely likable individual from my standpoint. This is the official graphic from the Baltimore Ravens. So once you see something like this from Baltimore, it's official. And that's when I started to get the wheels turning for me. I need to see something official from them before I can start doing stuff from my point of view. If I don't see nothing official from them, I don't really roll with it too much. Let me stop these alerts from my phone real quick. From my watch. But yeah, once I see a graphic or something from the Ravens, that's when I get in go mode. What up, Sebastian? Appreciate you for joining. Raven C. Hey, Raven C. Rebirth. Hey, what we gonna do? All right, next up. Saw this from Jonah Schaefer. Says Kyle Van Noy finished 29th among edge last year and pass rush win rate per PFF. That's ahead of a Hassan Reddick, who was a guy that I thought we might have had a chance to get. Jalen Phillips, who was really good for Miami this past year before he tore his ACL, I think, or his Achilles, one of the two. I know he tore one of those two ligaments. Jonathan Grenard, who for the Texans, who had a really great year, and Brian Burns, who recently got traded to the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. And Grenard's no longer with the Texans. He's not with the Texans anymore also. If he can repeat his 2023 production, and that's a big if given his age, if I know he's 33, this deal could be a bargain. I agree 100% with what Jonah put in his tweet. 100%. And I always mention lightning not striking twice in the same spot. And this is one of the things I kind of talk about when I say that, because the production that we got out of Kyle Van Noy and Clowney at their age, they had career years both over 30. And it's tough to try to get that same thing again. If he can get the 9 sacks again, it'd be great. It really, really, really be great. And keep in mind, he got 9 sacks. Didn't touch the field till week 3. Didn't touch the field till week 3. What up, Daniel? What up, Yolanda? Appreciate you for joining us. Didn't touch the field till week 3. So if he can reach that again, if he can reach 8, if he can reach 7, be great. Because his presence is not only felt in sacks, he does a good job with helping other guys win too, because he puts so much pressure on him, because he's a high effort guy, even at 33 years old. He's a very high effort guy. And I'm going to show you that on the back end of this video. He's a very high effort guy at 33 years old. This is from his Instagram. You know, once he signed or whatever, or once it became public that he signed, he put this on his Instagram showing him running out of the tunnel at M&T Bank Stadium. Now, these are his numbers from last year. This is every game from PFF, and we'll talk about the highs and lows of it. So these are his snaps. This column right here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. This column, and I'll make it a little bigger. This column is his snaps. So the most snaps he had was in the playoff game versus Kansas City. 49 snaps. And then right here, run defense switches. He's not much of a run defender. He normally comes in on those pass rush downs. Our run defending edges last year were Odafe Owe, Malik Harrison transitioned to an outside linebacker on first and second downs, and Clowney, so to speak. Those 3 guys were pretty much our first down run defenders and our second down run defenders if they got positive yards running the ball on first and second down. So he wasn't really much of a run stopper. Now, he did what he needs to do at times, but his run numbers, his run grades aren't very great. And so I don't even see that as a negative for him, because he's not a run stopper. He's a niche guy. He's a pass rusher, a team leader. He's a glue guy. So, you know, looking at his grades won't be the greatest versus the run. So, but I don't care about that. We got other guys to fill that role. All right. Pass rush. And this is the column for pass rush. If anytime you see 60 and above for pass rush, that's good for him. So you got one game pretty much that's not in that 60 range, and that was versus Arizona. He had a 49-9. So when you look at this stuff on PFF, and again, you can take it for whatever it's worth. I'm just showing it because it's available to me. Anytime you don't see orange or red, it's good. And he had one game, we had 49 versus Arizona. So the rest of his pass rush grades are pretty much 60 and up. He had that 159.7, but when you round it up, that's 60. And even though that game says 59.7, he had 2 sacks that game. And that's versus Detroit. He had 2 sacks that game. So he had 2 sacks versus Detroit. He had 2 sacks versus Seattle. He had a sack versus Tennessee. Had a sack versus Cincinnati. 1 versus San Francisco. 1 versus Miami. And 1 versus Pittsburgh. So if you look at his sacks didn't come versus the cupcake teams. His sacks came versus teams that were considered the good teams when we really needed them. Those upper echelon teams where we needed to have them step up, and where we needed to have everybody to step up and play football, that's when they came. Like, I don't want to call Tennessee a cupcake team, but he had 1 versus Tennessee, 2 versus Detroit. Detroit just missed the Super Bowl. Seattle was good at the time we played them. At the time we played Seattle, they were leading that division. Cincinnati is a division rival. San Francisco, well, we know what they did. Miami was one of the best teams in the AFC the time we played them, and then a division rival versus Pittsburgh. So, like I said, he showed up in big games. And again, there were some sacks that he missed. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation. There were some sacks that he missed. He possibly could have had double-digit sacks. Could have had double-digit sacks. Just like Clowney could have had another 4 or 5 sacks. Van Noy could have had another, I'd say 3 or 4 sacks too. All right, let's go to our next one, our next slide. Now, what it means for the team. So on this list right here, and now don't worry about the inside linebackers. Let's look at these outside linebackers. You got Malik Ham, David Ojabo, Tavius Robinson, Odafe Owe. And I'm going to add Malik Harrison to this list too, because he's been, in my opinion, he's transitioned to outside linebacker. He don't play much on pass rush downs, but that first and second down, I mentioned it a minute ago, he kind of plays that edge. So for me, what re-signing Van Noy does, it brings a veteran presence to this outside linebacker group. Because Malik Harrison still on his rookie deal. Malik Ham still on his rookie deal. Ojabo rookie deal. Tavius Robinson rookie deal. Odafe Owe rookie deal. Van Noy in this room, you finally got a voice a voice of experience to go along with the coach. You had 2 guys with that voice of experience last year. You had, I don't know how much Bowser was around or whatnot, but you had Clowney and Van Noy. So you needed an experienced guy to come back in this room and to kind of, not necessarily the coach, but you need an experienced guy in that room to rally the guys up and to teach them how to be pros. And not from a coaching standpoint, you needed a peer to teach them how to be pros and to, hey, you need to do this way. You need to do that way. Hey, when you see this from a tackle, you need to know this pass. Or when you see him light on his fingers, it's probably a run. Just a little nuance of the game that he done learned over his 9 or 10 years or however long he's been in the league that he can pass on to Ojabo or Owe or Robinson or Malik Harrison. You need that voice in the room to pass on information that he done learned over his career. Because you got a room full of rookies, a room full of young guys, ain't no telling what they talking about. They probably talking about the best snacks in the room. And you need a guy that can lock them in and say, hey, focus up. That ain't the coach. Because they can look at the coach and be like, man, stop tripping. But then you got their peers telling them that. It hit a little different. It hit a little different. So, with that being said, let's kind of transition into how he got some of those sacks. Let's go from there. This is versus the Titans. And I talked about that effort. And like on this one, you see him, going against the tackle with the spin moves, great spin move, but on the ground, on his knee, just don't give up. Just don't give up. That effort. And again, just showing the young guys, just never give up. Just keep going. Just keep going. If I'm not mistaken, this is versus Penei Sewell initially. But again, he don't really win. At this point, it's really, let me just see what I can do to try to keep the quarterback in the pocket. And he realizes, okay, this is going to be a foot race between me and Jared Goff. If I come with the proper angle, I can get me a sack. And he prevents Jared Goff from getting across that line of scrimmage. And yeah, it's not a traditional sack, but because he prevented Jared Goff from getting to the line of scrimmage, that's a sack. He came with the proper angle. He prevented Goff from getting to the line of scrimmage. And in the book, it counts as a sack. It counts toward his career year. Let's go with another one. First the lines again. And this one right here, my bad, I went too far. This one is just straight power. Watch the leverage he gets on 68. He's just going to get up under his pads and just walk him straight back to the quarterback. Low man wins. Watch that. He got him off his feet. He got him on one leg right now. And he's just going to walk him straight back to the quarterback. Easy. Leverage. He understands leverage. He got a great spin move. He understands angles. Seasoned vet, man. He's a pros pro. He's a pros pro, man. And he can teach them young guys so much if they just be willing to learn. Just be willing to learn. Look at that explosion. And he still is explosive to be 33 years old. He kind of paused a little bit to see what's going on. And then once he see that opening, watch him explode through that hole. A little dip of the shoulder, and it explode right through it. Come here, Gino. And this, my friends, is the very next play. This is the very next play. Take it on the young guy, cross. Sack fumble. Let's go. Sack fumble. Sack fumble. And again, re-signing him, I think, was detrimental. What up, Agent E? Re-signing him was detrimental to the defense, especially after losing Clowney. You needed a veteran voice in that room. You needed a guy that understood the culture, understood McDonald's defense, so he can help or build on it. Because, or keep in mind, your defensive coordinator is a rookie too. If I'm not mistaken, and y'all chat box correct me if I'm wrong, him and Orr may be close to the same age. So you need as many veteran good players to help Orr out too. And not saying Orr don't know what he's doing. I'm not saying that. Don't put those words in my mouth. But you need just as many older, good veteran players to help relay Orr's message to the younger guys so they can pick it up, so they can learn it, so they can instill Orr's message and execute Orr's message. It can't always be the coach sometimes. It can't always be the coach. Sometimes, and we all love the Ravens culture when Ray and Suggs and Nada and all those guys were there, and they were pretty much the guys that handle stuff. And not saying Van Noy is on that level, but you need some of those guys to take some of that load off the coach and hold other players accountable. I'm telling you, the best teams, the players run the team. And Van Noy is a guy that can, I don't want to say put his foot on neck, but he can go to a guy and say, hey, look, you ain't doing this right. Let me show you how to do it. And we're going to do it this way from here on out because this is the way it should be done. And he don't have to be a rah-rah, get in your face, SOB type of thing. He can pull you to the side and say, look, the way we did XYZ, this is how you should do it. And, just try it this way. And then if it don't work, hands off. Because it's more than, it's a bunch of different ways to lead. You don't have to be a yeller. You don't have to be as passionate as Ray. You can pull people to the side and, give them your little tidbits. And then, if you can lead a horse to water, and if they don't drink it, they don't drink it. But it's more than one way to lead, and it don't always have to be rah-rah. But that's all I had for you, man. I just want to talk about my reasons why I think re-signing Van Noy was crucial, or detrimental, or whatever the word Killer Cam put out there. And I think it's definitely going to help. I think it's definitely going to help the room. It's going to help the defense. Now, I talked this morning about how little money we had. We have even less money now. So I don't really know how this cap thing works. I'm still trying to figure it out. Every day I'm looking at different stuff, trying to see how does it work? Because in my brain, the cap is still cap, but I know we got Sport Track said we had 12 million. And then we need 9 million if we keep all our picks. If we keep all our picks, we need 9 million. So 12 million minus 9 million is 3 million. And then if Van Noy just signed for 5 million-ish, that's negative to me. But I don't know if my math be mathing, so it is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all for spending a little time with me. We're 20 minutes in. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. And share this. Grab a link to it. Share it on, if you have any social, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, whatever other social it is out there, Threads or whatever that's out there. Help the channel grow. We closing in on 10,000. Let's get to 9,500 first. I think I'm less than 100 away from 9,500. So helping me get this out would be definitely helpful. And join the Patreon too if you have not done so. Patreon.com/SipTheTally. Smallest tier is $5. The largest tier is $50. Whichever one fits you. I appreciate the help, man. So I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace and love. I'm out. Appreciate y'all for coming, hanging out with me.